So welcome everybody, and we are on Facebook Live. Today is the 16th of June, which is quite an important day in the history of South Africa. Some of you might know it as Youth Day or the Day of the African Child. But the 16th of June was a very important day. It was the day when young people in South Africa decided that they had had enough of the apartheid system and that they were going to do something about it. I would urge you as our guests and also as our audience to please go online and to learn a little bit about what happened on the 16th of June. And this was the 16th of June, 1976, when young Hector Peterson was one of the first children to be shot dead by the apartheid government, the apartheid police. These are all the young children who marched against, at the time, was apartheid. It was the Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. So it was a language that was linked to the apartheid system. And young people decided that they did not want to be taught in Afrikaans. And so they took to the streets. It has remained a pivotal period for us in South Africa. And I had asked Justine to please just bring up a few of those images so that we could have a look and get a gist of what I'm talking about. I also want to say this is the second season of the F Show. We had started on June 16, 2020, and we really started because of the pandemic. We wanted to be able to talk about important issues whilst we were in lockdown and whilst we all felt a little bit frustrated that we couldn't actually meet each other. And so we thought the platform would be great to find an opportunity to talk about different things. And we went, from music to arts, to the legal system, to architecture, and everything dealt with the pandemic. How were we coping within the pandemic? And so we had hoped, obviously, by now that the pandemic would have been gone. Unfortunately, here we are in 2021, and the pandemic is still with us. What we do know, though, is that we have with us young people and older people who are doing amazing work during this time of the pandemic. And our topic today is on charities. And so I want to invite our friends, particularly now from India. We have my friend Jitendra Mishra, and Jitendra and his family, when the pandemic or when India was really hit by the pandemic just recently, and you would have seen the images globally of people dying, of people being turned away, of the challenges around oxygen and the total devastation that was taking place, not only in India, it was global, but the spotlight was on India. And so I want to welcome you, Jitendra, because you're a filmmaker, you're a producer, you do arts and culture, but as a family, you decided that there was something very, very important that you needed to do at this very difficult time for your community. Please tell us about it, and Justine will actually bring up some of the images, Jitendra.
Hello everybody, and thank you, Firdaus, for inviting my entire family. In fact, we don't believe there is something called charity. We are just giving back to our own society, whatever the society has given us. It's like, it's a family initiative, it's a joint initiative. Last year, March 2020, when WHO announced it's a pandemic, then we realized we have to really work hard to protect ourselves and our community. So we started together along with few of my childhood friends in my hometown and with my family members. Almost 50 members, they came forward to work voluntarily. They are from different backgrounds. Like my brother is a scientist. My sister-in-law, she is an electrical engineer. My mother, she is a housewife. And my friends, they are like, someone is teacher, someone is ex-military man. So we came together and we started supplying the basic things needed, particularly to the deprived community in India. And my hometown, it's called Titlagarh. It comes under a district called KBK district, which is considered as the most backward district of India by the Planning Commission of India. The government is doing so much. The state government and the central government, they are doing, but it's such a huge country with so much population. We all have to work for ourselves. We all have to work for our society. So we have been doing in our own way. But recently we started an oxygen bank along with an foundation called Johar Foundation. We started this oxygen bank where we provide free oxygen cylinders and concentrator to people who are in home isolation. They cannot go to hospital, or they don't get any bed in the hospital, because you must have heard about the scarcity of hospital beds and oxygen in India. So that time we started this, and now we have been serving so many people with free oxygen. The basic thing, air, oxygen, forget about water, food, medicines, oxygen. So that's a very that's initiative is very welcome by all our people in the city. Then we started supplying monthly ration kit, the nutrition kit, not just rice or lentils, but medicines, hand wash, mask, salt, tea, everything, like whatever they need to run a house, the monthly grocery, you can say, and it's sufficient for a family of 3 members for a month. So it's a big kit we provide, and we do it regularly. Recently, we started telemedicines, teleconsultations with doctors, because in our area it's very difficult to go reach out to doctors who are experts, actually COVID specialists. We have general doctors, general physicians, but we don't have COVID specialists. So we connect our people over video conferencing, other WhatsApp call, over Zoom conference with the specialist who all are out. Like one doctor is sitting in Delhi in the highest, biggest hospital. They can talk to them directly over phone, or over WhatsApp call. So that's a big thing for our people. It's a very you need to have some kind of conversation. That's more important. Like, you can provide medicine, but you need to convince them that you will get well soon. That's counseling is very, very much needed. And half of the people, they get well after they talk to the doctor. Otherwise, it's like the fear is killing us. It's not the disease. Most of the people are dying because of because they are afraid of this thing. So when they talk to the doctor, they feel relaxed and they get well, most of the cases. So that's the wholesome, in nutshell. So we have been working, of course, not for others, but ourselves. And I'm very thankful to my family, my friends, who they are the actual hero. Like I said, they are the actual hero. They are working on ground. During this pandemic, they have been going outside to supply food. They are meeting with people. They don't know them. They are going to orphanages. They are going to lepra centers. So like, these are the things they have been doing. So yeah.
Thank you, Jitendra. You want to say something from home? Your
I would love if they talk something about their experience. And Santosh, Umada, Bulu, anybody, you want to talk? I think their network.
No, they're there.
Yeah. Now they, yeah.
I is really glad to meet you all in the single frame, including my brother who is sitting there far from us. On the same hand, I will definitely thank all my friends and brother who have taken so much of Herculean tasks to make fruitful to our mission to touch everyone who are desperate about the food or any support from the society. Actually, we are trying our level best to give them our best what can we do beyond our scheduled work. Actually, we all are working in some field, other field, and we have some compulsion. So beyond that, we are giving. Means it is a really, I really appreciate our friends who have contributed their valuable time, as well as you, that you are giving us time to listen with people. And what can I say more? Jitendra has already elaborated the things. So only thing I will tell that we will try, and we will try our best to give the best to the society. Thank you.
That's my elder brother Umakant. He is a scientist. He is a scientist in the and
Dr. Umakant Misra.
Dr. Umakant Mishra, and Santosh. He is an ex-military person, and he was Mr. India. He's a bodybuilding builder, and he was Mr. India earlier. So yeah, after retirement, he has come back to our hometown, and he started a fitness center there. Yeah, Santosh.
Yeah, good evening to all of you. Really, it is a good part for me to sit here along with my friends and my dear friend Jitendra. We are fortunate here to serve the native peoples, those who are needy, to give them dry ration kits for a month. And along with like just we started today onwards that tele consultant service by doctor. So the need for it's a need, essentials need for the COVID patients, those who have suffered, those who have recovered. So this is a great privilege for us to get such an opportunity by my friend. And here my all friends are sitting, and we are committed to work for the needy people, those who are essential, like rations, like medical facilities. So we are committed and we will do. Jai Hind.
My mother, ma, kiji koho namaskar ki kana kohi de.
Namaste, ma.
Let me just quickly introduce my other friends. Sudeep Tripathi. Sudeep Tripathi he is handling the tele consultation vertical. Then Butu is there at the behind. He is another friend, my childhood friend. And Satya, he is also childhood friend. And my sister-in-law, she is a electrical engineer. And yeah, they all are. They are sitting at my place. It's 11:45 p.m. and they all are sitting here. You know, so it's a privilege. Thank you so much, Firdaus.
No, Jitendra, thank you. You make me quite emotional. Wow. Thank you to your family. Wow. That is just wonderful. Thank you to the Mishra family. Thank you for all the work you are doing. We really appreciate it. Thank you. You inspire us. Thank you, Jitendra. If they like to stay, they can, but we understand if they need to leave. But this is really special. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we'll come to Dr. Zaida, Adam. Zaida, we have a little clip that we will use to introduce your project, and then you will tell us about the work that you do. So, Justine, please.
Alhamdulillah, your food is smelling very nice.
Alhamdulillah.
Aziz cooked this acne from scratch. It's not a mindful meal acne. So a lot of effort went into this acne, as we used to usually with it, and alhamdulillah, looking very wholesome. Make sure everyone gets potato and chicken. So from the bottom, Isa.
Thank you, Justine. And then we also have the clip on baking, Justine. Will we see that clip? Okay, so if Justine is trying to get that clip for us, in the meantime, Zaida, we went right straight into the food. I thought that was excellent.
Gastronomic. Yeah.
Can you please tell us, Dr. Zaida, I have to tell everybody the secret that Zaida was one of the youngest students when we were at Trinity School, and it being June 16th, and we know the politics of South Africa and the politics of students. We were activists ourselves, and Zaida was extremely active in the community, did amazing work, whether it was in sports or whether it was community building. So I'm so proud of you, Zaida, and I'm so happy to have you on our show. Please tell us about the wonderful work you are doing now, not only as a doctor, but with this organization, FEED.
Thanks, Firdaus, for having me. And Jitendra, I'd just like to, we watched in awe, you know, the social cohesion and the magic. I think the potion that you and your family have that you're giving to all the COVID sufferers, I'd really like to congratulate you for the kind of work you're doing. Back here in South Africa, I represent an organization called FEED. It is also a community-based organization. And our acronym is largely realized in our mission is realized in the acronym FEED, which represents our desire to feed, educate, empower, and develop individuals. So we've got projects running, you know, in all the different areas. And I think the clip you had seen was a dig. We prepare a number of digs on our special celebration for the Eid al-Fitr, and that was a dish, as Firdaus mentioned, called akni. We try and ensure that, you know, anything that we give to our recipients or the centers that we support has a lot of nutritional value. On our team, we have a dietitian. And this year, we've also been using a product called Mindful Meals that ensures that there's an adequate amount of protein in the meals that we give to recipients. We've got a number of centers where there's orphans, and we support a lot of communities, the indigent in the community. Specifically with COVID over the last year, we worked with the Department of Social Development in Johannesburg, to try and focus on people that had been affected by COVID. And our main focus was initially on the indigent, and people who constitute the indigent are largely the elderly, the disabled, those who have lost their jobs, child-headed homes. In South Africa, child-headed homes is, you know, a huge issue because of the scourge of HIV. However, with COVID and the number of people that have been unemployed, you know, as a result of the pandemic, food security had become a huge issue. So together with the Department of Social Development, it facilitated a huge outreach, ensuring that it gets to the people who needs it the most. FEED was established, I think, in 2005, and it was largely a group of women. Our kids were at school together, and I had lived in Dubai, and when I came back to South Africa, I wanted to expose my kids to I wanted them to feel a true sense of what South Africa is about and experience, you know, all different walks of life, and to understand that, you know, there's a huge social stratification in South Africa, you know, based on, and even though we had fought to be, you know, on June the 16th and yonder, to break the shackles of apartheid, there's still a large economic apartheid that's prevalent in South Africa, and there's a huge disparity between the haves and the have-nots. And this is largely what FEED is about. And most of the women that belong to FEED, you know, subscribe to this ethos, and it is that of trying to alleviate global poverty through feeding, educating, empowering, and developing individuals. So over the years, we've grown and we've got projects running in education. We had the privilege of, I think, working with the Turkish Harmony Institute on education and empowerment pertaining to gender-based violence. And the clip you're seeing now is one of our skills, our Bees School of Baking. Bees, again, is an acronym representing our mission to bake, educate, and empower South Africans. We aim to develop a number of home bakers, so women can bake from their homes, and what they generate in terms of income can change their lives and the lives of their families, and they can become role models to their kids by doing something from home and the kids watching them grow. And we've tapped into a huge skill base, and some of them don't necessarily have to bake from home because they're so good and they've been taken up by in the hospitality industry, and they've managed to secure good jobs. So this is what we do on the baking front. We've got a sewing skills called Threads of Hope, where we teach women to sew, and this also allows them, I think, all with the goal of allowing women to empower themselves through earning, and then education. We part of an international group called Girl Rising, and Girl Rising is the organization uses the power of narrative to change women's lives. So we use the movie as a tool to try and spur on or inspire young girls to be educated, and it's backed by an allo curriculum. And then within our community, we try and impart a sense of accountability, or responsibility and accountability for fellow human beings. So we've got a large Feed youth squad who are amazing and who help us execute a lot of the projects that we undertake. So this is largely what Feed does. So,
thank you, Zaida. Wow, well done. Thank you.
my pleasure.
And Faiza, so we've been to India, and then we went to South Africa, and now we're going to Pakistan, and we welcome Faiza. Faiza, we have the video that you sent to us. We will show a minute of it, and then we can hand over to you to tell us the rest of the story. And we'd like to also welcome Najam. And as you wish, between the two of you, we can talk about the project. So Justine will just show us a minute of that link.
मैं शाहिद अफरीदी सबसे पहले एक पाकिस्तानी हूँ। मैं आप सबका बहुत ममनून हूँ कि मुझे मुसलसल आपका प्यार और सपोर्ट मिलता रहा है। हम पुरअज़म हैं कि हमारे हर पाकिस्तानी घर में पानी मुयस्सर हो, कोई कहीं भी भूखा या प्यासा ना सोए।
Thank you, Justine. Faiza, welcome.
Thank you. So Najam and I represent Shahid Afridi Foundation. It's a registered charity in Pakistan with global registered chapters in USA, UK, and South Africa and Australia. We basically work in 5 thematic areas to uplift underserved communities across the globe. We have health, education, water, sports, and emergency relief. So as we were all talking about COVID-19, so during the pandemic, we thought the daily wages in Pakistan and low-income households in the country are suffering the most. And most of our economy depends upon these daily wages and everyone. So we started a campaign called Donate Corona. The campaign worked towards ensuring food security, nutrition, and provision of ration for the families who couldn't go out because of the lockdown and who couldn't go out to earn, especially teachers. As schools were closed, they've started losing their jobs, frontliners, so we started providing them ration, and we catered to around 38,000 households across the country, benefiting over 200,000 individuals through this campaign. So the foundation also works across the globe. Najim can brief us about how we are making a difference across the globe, and I can brief you about how we're making a difference in Pakistan. Najim bhai, would you like to add?
Welcome, Najam. I see you are in a real car sitting in the US. Where are you? You're on mute, my friend.
I've been married for 25 years, so my wife always keeps me on mute. So I'm just used to it now. But listen, I am actually in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you so much for having us over. This is obviously a great group of people. I heard the stories, and my apologies for being a little bit late. I have to make a living during the day, so I'm a real estate developer. But Shahid and I, like all of you guys, have done some extraordinary work, and I applaud every one of you guys for doing so many great things, because the world is full of problems and challenges. And I think if people like us don't step up, perhaps this world will not be as good of a place for some people. So Shahid obviously is a famous cricket player. He has served the country for many years, and he has entertained the world across everywhere. And when he took up this challenge for serving people in Pakistan and other parts of the world, I was fortunate enough to be part of his life. In 2014, we went non-for-profit 501c3. We're a registered public charity organization in the United States. We've been registered for 5 years. We have extraordinary transparency in place here. And in Pakistan, we have Deloitte and Touche doing our audits. And then we have Foundation for the Carolinas. They manage about $3 billion in assets. So they actually take care of our funds. We also have CAF America, which have been they've been around for many years, and they do all the vetting process for all the funds. So one of the most important thing, being a U.S. citizen, for me was that we have the 100% transparency mechanisms in place, and we've been very fortunate that we are approved non-for-profit 501c3 charity. But in terms of the thematic areas that Faiza mentioned, obviously there is so much work to be done, and I think I'll just end at this, and I'll open it up for any questions. Is that we need to collaborate together to find a way to create those synergies that help us all. Shahid Afridi Foundation being a global foundation, we have footprints in South Africa, Australia, and US, obviously, in Canada. Shahid is a global figure, so obviously he's got great followings everywhere. But if there is anything that we can do to collaborate with any one of you guys down the road, we'll be very honored to do that partnership. But like I said, we are a star charity organization in the US. We've done a lot of great work, but we're just beginning and scratching the surface. But my invitation to all of you guys is, if there's anything we can do together in terms of collaboration and activities that can serve anywhere in the world, we'll be very honored to have that, to extend that partnership hand to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So I talk fast, and I keep it short. So that's just the American way for you. And I have.
Is you driving in that car?
I'm not driving right now. I'm actually parked. So.
No, I know it's just a joke, because on the other hand, the fellow person from the USA is Andrea, and she was sitting in a car on the San Francisco bridge, but it was all just virtual. So it was lovely to see the two of you coming in. But Najam, I also want to tell you, my mother's last name is Najam, which we spell exactly the same as you do, which is probably, does it mean moon or star?
Star. So yes. I'll tell you a quick story about that. Okay, so I'm obviously I'm also involved in politics here. So Hillary Clinton is a good friend of mine, and we've gotten to know each other over the last 4 years. And so when I met Hillary Clinton for the first time, and many times afterward, I told Hillary that I know all of your 4 names. I know Hillary, Diane, Rodham, Clinton. Diane, a lot of people don't know. And she said, "Well, that's pretty amazing. You know all my 4 names." I'm like, "But you don't know even one of my names, So she's like, "What is your name?" And I said, "My name is Najam." And she's like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "It means star." So she said, "Okay, Najam, star, I can remember that. So you can tell your mom that Najm really means star, and hopefully in our lives, all of us are stars in one way or the other. And we can enlighten the life of a lot of folks. But it's always great to be able to be a giving hand than the receiving hand. And I think, like I said, for me, when I heard about this call, it was important for me to jump on just so we can extend that partnership hand and create that collaboration. Anything that we can do, and Faiza can share my number. If you guys ever come to US, we'll be happy to meet with you guys as well. But that's where I come from.
Thank you, Najm. Thank you so much. We will
Thank you.
continue the conversation. I want, Faiza, do you want to follow up, or should I go to Andrea and come back?
You can go to Andrea and then we can come back.
Then we can just have a conversation. Andrea?
Sure.
Thank you, Najm. Andrea, welcome.
Thank you.
Wonderful to see you. We do have your website, and I think that we do have the video. So we'll show that.
Where are you on Facebook? I'm trying to find you on Facebook.
So it's the F Show. It's F Show Chat. At F Show Chat.
F Show Chat.
CHAT, as in chatting.
Gotcha. Okay. I
Okay.
wanted to share it, so I was trying to find you guys.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, it's important that people do share. So are you ready for us? Because we are ready for you.
There you are. Okay, I was just trying to find you. Yeah, I'm ready for you. If you want to start with the video, that'd be great.
CEO of Business Squared LLC, founder of D. Sherrill and Healerpreneur, licensed 10-year banking leader.
And I'm Sequoia Sherrill, licensed clinical marriage and family therapist, founder of On My Couch, co-founder of Solid Ground Wellness Therapeutic Group, and Healerpreneur.
I'm cancer-free. I've been that way since the bone marrow transplant, and I plan to stay that way.
I find value in trying to live a life that has meaning. So to have mattered to the world, to have helped make this world a better place.
Okay, I'm 31, and in my life, I've only had 32 months of employment.
What's my biggest financial success is not what's my biggest success to me.
There's something about sharing your own personal story that feels like a weight that's being lifted off of your shoulders.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's, first of all, it's such a pleasure to be on this show and to just hear so many different perspectives about COVID and what's just happening all over the world. I obviously live here in the United States, and so this is just a really humble experience for me to be seeing what's happening in other countries. So I really appreciate everybody's transparency and the work that you're doing to make sure that your communities get served. So my name is DeAndrea Sherrill, also known as D. Sherrill. I am the CEO of Business Squared LLC, which is a financial solutions-based organization that helps small Black entrepreneurs with their startup business in terms of their financial goals and just getting financially situated with their financial future development. And I also am the founder of Healerpreneur, which is what are here to talk about today. That is an organization we actually started during COVID, like some of you, just really wanting to give back and serve our small Black business community here. This is a very developing area of opportunity here in America in terms of the development and growth of our small Black businesses. So I believe there are about, I don't know, maybe, I know there's 2 million Black businesses in the United States of America, and it may be like a little over 32 million Black businesses as a whole. And so of that threshold, we make up a very small percentage of small business here in America. And of that 2 million, only 0.2% of the 2 million businesses actually have employees and actually are able to sustain a solid economic business that pours back into their communities and is able to offer jobs and opportunities and such. And so when COVID hit, this particular business community really took a hit because, businesses were shut down and we were non-operative and things of that nature. And so my partner and I, who is a licensed family therapist, marriage and family therapist, and I came together because we wanted to be able to provide both financial resources and mental resources, mental health resources for our small Black community, because we noticed that a lot of the entrepreneurs or small business owners were struggling with just their past trauma, situations that's happened, when they were X amount of years old, or even just overall, just the impact of COVID. And so as a result of that, people were feeling like they didn't want to do their business or they didn't have the support to do their business. So we started Healapreneur because we wanted our entrepreneurs, our Black entrepreneurs, to be healed before actually really taking a deep dive into business. And so what we are on a mission to do is to raise funds for this sector, this small Black business community. And we want to be able to provide both free startup money, free startup aid, and also free mental health care services, because we are in an era where we are realizing how important mental health care is and how important it is to make sure that you're seeking therapy, that you're getting routine help with some of the difficulties that we are challenged with depression and anxiety and all different types of mental sicknesses that keep us from striving towards our passion, right? And so instead of just giving up on our passions, we want to be able to provide the resources so small Black business owners don't have to give up, and that they have a shoulder to lean on, and that even going through COVID, with so many of these resources being ripped from underneath their feet, we're there to stand in and be the gap, right? So we started Healapreneur as an international movement to be able to just touch on the minority community. And we did this fundraiser with all the shoes that you guys saw. We actually collected over 700 pairs of shoes and we had them sent to Africa. So we work with an organization called Funds.org, and we collected shoes from all over our communities, from Maryland to DC. And so we did this as just a contribution to our community, but it was also a fundraising effort for us to pour back into our community. So we're a startup nonprofit. We've been around only for just a short year, and we are just really just trying to be the resource for folks in our community. So when we did our virtual summit, which was the first event that we did last year, about a year ago, we had over 100 people attend virtually. We had folks from different countries who tuned in. We were able to raise, I believe, almost $1,000. And it was just a blessing to be able to have at least 14 sponsors who contributed their time, their efforts, their services, their products to support the Black business community and to give them just some edge up or some one-ups on how to just really sustain their business through COVID. So our entire mission is really just about helping the small Black business community, helping them to grow from their standard to maybe what's a little bit more common. So we have these 2 million Black businesses, and then we have 30 million other businesses in the United States who are small businesses that have a little bit more access to help than us as the small Black business owners. So we want to be there to support them, to help them through this COVID rigmarole and all this craziness that has happened over the last year, and just truly just be a resource. We're really truly just a mental and financial wellness resource to our community. So we're really excited. We're having a Black Legacy Gala on Friday in support of June 19th. And so that is kind of like a Black national holiday for us. And so we're really just doing a lot of business empowerment, a lot of Black family and Black community empowerment to just really just uplift us during this time, but at the same token, raise funds so that we can actually execute our mission. And so that's what we do, and that's what we're focused on. And I'm just really, like I said, I'm really humbled to be amongst all of you who are just representing different spaces all over the world right now. And I'm really obsolete from the news because the news makes me so sad. And so you guys kind of like forced the news on me just now. So, and it's okay because I need to be in tune with what's going on. What I'm telling you is like every time you turn the news, it's always something sad. And so, I really try to control my environment and keep as much positive vibes going on around me as possible. But it's really a humble experience just to be exposed and to be more open and aware about what's happening in the world and how COVID has impacted all of us. So I just once again, I appreciate everyone for sharing what you're trying to do, for doing what you're doing. God bless, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for that passion and enthusiasm and excitement. And now we come to Turkish Harmony. Jan, we left you for the last. And I think what is important, Justine also has some slides that she'll show and bring up for us, Jan, because we'd also like you to talk about the overall project. You also, as Turkish Harmony, have your finger in so many different pies, and there's so much that you do. So Justine, please, if you bring up that slide. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Firdaus, for inviting me, and I want to say hello to everyone. So I'm the executive director of Turquoise Harmony Institute, which is a South African-based NGO. Our main objective is to try to promote peace, harmony, and social cohesion. So what we believe, maybe you agree or not, behind almost all the conflicts around the world in a smaller or bigger scale. So what we believe, people or communities, they don't know about each other. So they have their own perceptions, they have their own assumptions, or they learn or they hear from other people about somebody else. So what we want to do is we want to tackle this problem, we call it fear of the other, by bringing people together, on different kind of platforms. It is not an easy one, but we believe this is the most sustainable way of creating and keeping peace in a small or bigger communities. And our activities, our events are depending on this philosophy. And before the pandemic, it was easier for us because our work is depending on human interaction. So we had to come together, to know each other. And it was much easier for us, to arrange those kind of, events. What we were doing, very informal gatherings like coffee nights, movie nights, so we were having some cooking classes, not, actually teaching, in an academic way of, classes, but, to bring people, we must find a reason, to bring people together. This is what we have been doing, before the pandemic. But during the pandemic, so I think it was not possible, to come together. So we focused on some, online events, but it didn't work. And we started early, on different projects. So they were a little bit long-term projects. And also I think it is an important way of knowing each other. because we don't want to do those projects alone, and we want to do it with the partners. And I think partnership is one of the key for developing trust among different communities and different peoples and different institutions. So that's why we started to focus on long-term projects, and one of them was, as you know or you don't know, xenophobia is one of the biggest social issue in South Africa. And we wanted to focus on the challenges and the plight of forcibly displaced people. When we talk about refugees, people in the world, they mainly focus on the Middle East, Syrians, in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Myanmar. But according to UNHCR, almost 26-27% of all these people are in African continent, actually. And we are not aware of their challenges. And as a result, South Africa is suffering because of these issues. And we wanted to focus on the refugee issues last 2 years. You have seen some maybe posters there. We arranged a concert for the refugees. Because first of all, to find a solution for that kind of problem, we believe people must understand the actual problem. Why these people are leaving their homes? What are the challenges in their homes? When they come here, what difficulties they are going through. And without understanding all these issues, I think it is not easy to find a sustainable solution. So that's why we try to mobilize, prominent South Africans to give the message out and to motivate and encourage people to help and also understand their situation. And our call was accepted by these very prominent South African musicians and other people, from opinion leaders, religious leaders, and it opened up many opportunities for us to serve these people. And currently we are working on a documentary project. I hope it is going to create and increase awareness about these forcibly displaced people, not only in African continent, but all around the world. So this is what I can say. Firdaus, I don't know. We are also a little bit involved in that. So if you want to say a few words, it would be great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Faiza. I'll come back to you in case you would like to share as you were rounding up the conversation. And then I open up. I like the fact that Najam has offered partnership and support. And I think, Andrea, as you sit in the US and he sits in the US, and I know that we are worlds apart in our cultures and our communication, but this idea of the Zoom and this communication is to bring us closer. So especially as we hear what Turquoise Harmony is doing, is that we don't know each other and then we assume and we have assumptions. And this is a wonderful way for us to get to know each other. So Faiza, I hand over to you so that you can share some of, as you close, the story from your organization, and then we'll open up to others.
So, like I said, we are working in 5 different thematic areas: education, health, water, sports, and emergency relief response. So we have different initiatives under each thematic area. We have 14 schools across the country. We have various water initiatives across the country that are bringing access to water, clean water, which helps them lead healthy lives. Our sports initiative is helping students, young youth, to develop healthy habits, take up learn life skills through sports, especially cricket, since we had Shahid Afridi with us and he's a legendary cricket player. So we developed a program called Cricket for Change, and under that we help students learn life skills, build their confidence, self-esteem, and we basically work with people who are living in remote and rural areas of our country who do not have access to basic needs, who do not, they're living in such remote areas where, it's really difficult to help reach humanitarian aid for them. So this is where Shahid Afridi Foundation focuses on. And yes, like Najm said, we are open to partnerships and to work in Pakistan or to work globally. We're here to make a difference. Like we always say, we're here to ensure it's hope, not out for everyone.
That's wonderful. So, Zaida, I'm just looking at synergies here because I think the work that you are doing is so close, especially with young people. So, Dr. Adam, what do you think? I'm just looking at youth. I think it's also getting to know each other. So if you are already based and you are in South Africa already, Faiza, as a foundation, I would like to
registered charity in South Africa.
With you and with Turkish Harmony. So it's Zaida and let's see how that could happen. Zaida?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of synergy in terms of the Afridi organization seems to be addressing basic needs, and when we also look at Maslow's, hierarchy of needs. And that is actually where FEED started. And initially when we started, we were only addressing food insecurity in South Africa, and we were feeding on a larger scale. But in order to alleviate poverty and ensure that you retain people or maintain dignity, it's important to empower people. And education, is certainly a huge tool in which you can actually see this bear fruition. So it would be great to sit down with you and find out which areas or in which geographical demographics you focus. And we could certainly, we've got certain tools that we can help with in terms of inspiring education, as far as addressing basic needs, even if we can't, I guess, materially or monetarily assist you. There's a certain, I think, be it the moral compass or, other factors that we've identified, we can certainly sit together and we all stand to gain a lot. We've had the pleasure of working with Turquoise Harmony pre-pandemic, and I can understand the challenges they've had, in terms of outreach. Fortunately, in terms of addressing basic needs, we've had the opportunity to work with our local Department of Social Development. But I think this network and, the ability to chat to one another and learn from one another is great. So I'm very grateful for the exposure that we've had this evening.
Same here.
Go ahead, Faiza.
No, I was just saying same here.
Yeah. Jitendra, I'm just looking because you also have a wide area that you focus on. So just for people to know, Jitendra and I are part of an organization called CIFEJ, which is the International Films for Children and Young People. It's a global organization. We have about 200 members globally. And Jitendra is now the new president of CIFEJ, which is very exciting. And so we also look at film, Zaida, as you were talking about, as you know, we are filmmakers. So we look at film and media as an opportunity, and also through film to use as a narrative to talk about these issues. So Jitendra, I'd like you to share something that you are doing, I know, in your outreach from the film side with young people. You're on mute.
Yeah, I have been trying to contribute on my own style. We all know cinema, audiovisual medium is the most powerful medium to convey any kind of message or even depict the reality. So we have been using cinema. I have been producing only socially relevant films. So that's my identity, you can say. I hardly make any commercial film, but every film has to be some kind of message to the mass. So that's the area. But now what we are doing with my family, it's just a kind of the way we consider a small family is trying to contribute to a bigger family. Our hometown or our state or our country or the globe. everything is linked. The main objective was to empower women for environmental sustainability. We like my mother, she never went to school, but she ensured all her children, they should be highly qualified, they should get the best education. So that's the symbol of women empowerment. We say our family is a women dominated family. In my family, my mother used to decide what her children will do. So that's why we named our initiative on my mother's name, that is called Project Sodamini. It's not a structured, you can say structured charity, foundation or society. We are just doing it, whatever is required and what we feel like we have to do it. Everybody is doing in their own style. We are just contributing. We are just coming forward, whatever, like earlier we used to work on environment, but now after COVID, we started working on the necessity areas. So yeah, it's kind of, we are supplying energy to our mind and soul. It's a satisfaction, it's a feel-good factor only, nothing else. Otherwise, we don't raise funds, we don't take any kind of outside support to run this project. We just generate, we have been using our savings, you can say. Yeah. So, but we, yeah.
Thank you, Jitendra. I think this is so important because I think everybody kind of starts, as you did, Zaid, as well. It's a group of people coming together, like-minded, and know that you have to do something. And then you are either blessed because it continues and gets bigger and grows, and your family members come in and the community builds it and so forth. Or in the case with Faiza, it's a Pakistani kind of icon that people revere and understand and know. And so he's giving back. And then with you, Andrea, that you guys have just come together, two people who believe that something needs to be done to build entrepreneurship. And excuse me, I think that is what's so exciting. It's just how we pick up those from each other and we inspire each other. So Andrea, with all that enthusiasm and excitement, your event is soon. It's on the 18th.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm aware because we're opening back up, all over the United States. States are opening back up. They're ready to come out of this this lockdown. And so because we chose to have a virtual event, people want to be outside. And so we're just crossing our fingers, dotting our I's and crossing our T's just to make sure that folks still tune in and just get the entertainment, because this is really more so about a celebration, right? About celebrating Black people coming together, enjoying music, enjoying interesting Black family conversations. This is about, listening to how artists are creative in terms of expressing what Black legacy means to them. And essentially what we want to do is we want to create a space where folks can tune in and see that entrepreneurship is something that you can utilize to build legacy. You don't have to work a 9 to 5. Not that we're against working a 9 to 5, because there are workers, there are workers, there are managers, there are bosses, there are employees, there are several different types of people who contribute to society. When it comes to entrepreneurship, we just want the people and the folks in our community to understand that you can build businesses that equate to having a legacy for generations to come in the African American community. And it seems sometimes to folks who may not all the time be as educated that this is impossible or that this is so hard, and we want to be that organization that stands in the gap and promotes and says, hey, guess what? Your family can do this. Anybody can do this. this. And so our goal is to provide examples of how to express Black legacy through music, through art, but also to actually have some Black families come on and talk about how they are doing with entrepreneurship and how they are creating Black legacy through entrepreneurship. And so that is our goal for our community, is to open up the eyes around us and to see all of the possibilities.
Thank you. And Najam, I'm going to give you the last word, but for the rest of you, usually when we end the show, we say F means something. So for me, F is for freedom, or F is for Firdaus. Please think what F is for you. But Najam, you've got the last word.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for putting it together. I think you deserve a lot of accolade from people like us, that you can create a platform and have like-minded people come together and talk about issues that are so dear to all of us. So certainly, special thanks and shout out to you. F word mean, well, I don't want to say the F word. just kidding. So, but listen, I will, once again, I'm just going to reach out to all of my colleagues here. Anything we can do to be of service to you. And I'm happy to facilitate that with our foundation. Like I said, let's just keep doing good work and keep talking and, opening doors, keeping those avenues together. Certainly, some of us are in infancy stages. Some of us have been around for a little bit. But what's most important to understand is the passion to serve, is the empathy that we carry for other people. So it doesn't matter if you've got millions or if you've got $10 in your pocket. The empathy and compassion is the common thread that connects us, all of us. So once again, thank you for joining and having me be part of it.
Faiza, F is for? Faiza?
F is for Faiza. F is for let's fly out and reach our goals.
Fly out, yay. Jitendra, F is for?
Of course, family.
Family. Ayan, F is for?
F is for friendship.
Friendship. Whoa, nice. Andrea, F is for?
Financial freedom.
Zahida, F is for?
I'm going to have to go with feed. It's a no-brainer.
That's wonderful. So I'd like to thank you all for your time and for being with us. And I do hope that this will continue in terms of a networking and partnership and inspiration. But you have all inspired us. And thank you for being our first show for the F show in the second season. Please look out for us. Next week, we will be talking about mental health, autism, learners with challenges. And this came from my brother Zain, who works in the Premier's office in South Africa, in Johannesburg. He was concerned because the issues around children at the moment, and as you were saying, Andrea, you all are outside. Most of you have been vaccinated and you can be hanging out. Unfortunately, in South Africa, Zada, you would know the stats in terms of the vaccinations. Have we done 1 million or 2 million in total out of 55 million people? So we have a problem with our vaccinations. I don't know how it is in Pakistan. I hope it's better than in South Africa. But most of the people in the US, go ahead, Faiza.
No, Pakistan, we are getting it vaccinated really rapidly.
So I'll give you the F word, Firdausa. I'll give you the F word, okay? Because I'm always called the connector, I'm going to give you the F word, which is forever. So whatever word you had, add forever to it. So for turquoise, it'd be forever friendship, forever freedom, forever financial freedom, and forever Faiza.
And forever Firdaus. You do know
That's
what
right.
my name means.
That's right, forever. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Good night.
Goodbye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you. God bless.